Thank you, Senator Ricketts, and I want to thank Chairman Risch and Ranking Member Shaheen for holding this hearing. Of course, thank you, Senator Perdue, for willingness to continue to serve, and thank you, Dr. Crowley, for being here as well. And I want to build a little bit on Senator Ricketts' comments about technology, critical, emerging technology. And Senator Perdue, you know, there's no doubt that the PRC is engaged in unfair trade practices to boost its own economy, to boost its standing internationally. In large part because of these harmful economic activities, the PRC risks supplanting the U.S. in a number of critical spheres, including AI, biotechnology, quantum computing, something we were all reminded of in January with the rollout of DeepSeek, which was a major wake-up call for the American tech sector. So, Senator Perdue, I've confirmed, how will you make sure that the U.S. maintains its qualitative edge across the spectrum of critical and emerging technologies, including AI, which is so important?
Well, thank you, Senator Rosen, and thank you for participating in this hearing. That's a great question, and one of the things that it's already been mentioned today, and that is that, you know, we've got to protect what we're doing in this country better than we have in the last 30 years. This is not a partisan observation here. We give China, and it goes back to reciprocity, Senator Ricketts. If you look at the access we give to Chinese PhDs, Chinese technologists into our private labs, into our military labs, and into our education institutions, we don't get that same access over there. We've educated 2 million Chinese, as we've said. 380,000 are in our schools today. The technology that's been forced to transfer through corporate deals made in China, I think a lot of those people, in my experience, have now come back to rue the day that they ever did that. It's a false hope, basically, that to enter China and get access to 1.4 billion consumers. The price has been too high, Senator, in my experience, and I think you're going to see that change. That will mean the corporations who are funding a lot of this technological development will, in fact, begin to sober up about what they're having to give up in order to do that business.
Thank you. We're going to keep talking about the PRC, obviously, because, they're doing a lot of bad things, needless to say, and we have to defend Tibet from PRC aggression. We not only have to defend ourselves against, promote technology and artificial intelligence, but PRC aggression. Tibet faces many challenges because of the PRC's repressive rule. In addition to threatening Tibet's religious and cultural heritage, the PRC has weaponized their water resources in the region. The PRC's control over the water resources in the Tibetan Plateau has the potential to severely threaten the water and food security, undermining the economic development in the region, which is important. It's why I recently submitted language to be included in the FY26 NDAA that would direct the Department of Defense, to comprehensively analyze the PRC's national security risks related to Tibet, including its weaponization of water resources. We know water is the key to life. So again, Senator Perdue, if confirmed, can I have your commitment to work with this committee to safeguard Tibet's culture, security, and water resources from PRC aggression?
Absolutely, Senator. If I may add one thing briefly, I know we're about out of your time, but this goes back. If you look at, there are three things basically in memory in my lifetime, basically, that the Chinese have made sweeping moves. They're moving in this water issue right now out west. But if you go back and look at the Great Leap Forward, they killed 25 million Chinese in that, reportedly, because they collectivized their agricultural capability and basically create starvation countrywide. The second thing was a cultural revolution. Again, tens of millions of people died in that great government move. Today, we see them doing something similarly with state-owned enterprises and these massive programs they have. The damage they could do to the global environment, the water supply that we have, which is the basis of life, as you said, is very dangerous. If confirmed as ambassador, this is one of the top topics that we will engage China on relative to President Trump and this administration's strategy.
I'm going to ask quickly about, speaking of water, the PRC's reckless, coercive, aggressive activities to undersea infrastructure because they sabotage undersea cables. It's a particularly alarming tactic. They're essential for global communications. They transmit 95% of global internet traffic, facilitate important financial transactions, bolster our security of our partner and allies. So it's not the same as the water that we drink, but the undersea cables, how are we going to protect that?
That's a major threat, and it's one that emphasizes the fact that one of the things that I talked about in terms of standing up to this threat, number one, realize it. Number two, educate people about it. And number three, get ready for it. We haven't done any of those three. And the third one I'd like to mention relative to that specific thing is that, our military is been underfunded over a period of time coming and going. We can talk about foreign aid later, but one of the things that we've got to do is focus not just on undersea damage to cables and that sort of thing. Why are they doing that? What are they doing? What are they preparing for by being in our infrastructure? Well, that gives me pause relative to what their capability is. So we're awakening to that. Director Ray at the FBI said that they've got 200 hackers for every one that we have, that they are in here. And every 12 minutes, they're filing a suit against something that China is doing. We need to make sure the military is focused on this specific threat that you mentioned. It's one of the highest priorities I know of President Trump as we get going here.
Well, thank you. As ranking member on the Cybersecurity Subcommittee of Armed Services, I agree with you there. Thank you.
Senator Hackett.